So I did 2 internships mainly this summer. One was a clinical setting, Axis Chiropractic, and the other was a fitness setting at O2 Fitness on James Island in South Carolina. The chiropractor I worked for is a CBP certified chiropractor, which is chiropractic biophysics, and he offers comprehensive care. So that means physical therapy, exercises, manual trigger point therapy, which is basically just site-specific massage. They did CBP setups based on x-ray results, and they did adjustments, obviously. We did E-stim or electrotherapy for transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation in order to provide relief. We taught them how to use prolordoric bands as a part of strengthening the neck as well as improving the posture. We used posture pump on them. They also did x-rays for assessments and progress. And we did, obviously, the manual therapy, lower body PNF. I sometimes did cervical PNF. And then we did therapeutic exercises, which is really where I came in because of my specific degree field. And I would say the highs of the experience was what I learned about myself, because I had to work alone most of the time, but the staff was so accepting and the patients were encouraging, and I was able to just be myself. So I would make people in the clinic laugh and feel cared for. I was also forced to exercise my decision-making skills, which is hard for me. I had to learn to multitask in order to juggle patients. I had to constantly think, which kept me from being bored as easily as some other jobs. The feedback I got from the chiropractor, receptionist, and patients also served as a great encouragement, like I said. And the staff would help me when I needed it, which was a plus in this atmosphere, especially working alone. The chiropractor was always willing to answer my questions if he was free. And I had to practice my ability to show someone an exercise or stretch, learn how to explain it, correct form, and that will be helpful if I become a personal trainer. The lows of the experience was probably that there was not enough supervision. I had to learn the hard way and mess up. There was not enough instruction. Even when we would brief at the beginning of the day, it was not enough for me to be able to competently take on the day and the patients. I would have had to put in more work, which was probably a low of the experiences, that I should have put in more work to look into their electronic files, figure out what they needed to do based on where they had been and where they were going. But I did feel incompetent a lot, especially at the beginning, and I didn't feel qualified to do it. I was also confronted about portraying insecurity about the patient's treatment plan. The chiropractor addressed that with me because I would ask questions more than I would tell them this is what we're doing. And so it wasn't conveying confidence. I didn't use the computer system like I should have in order to find out the information I need based on what was already inputted into the system. And I should have taken more time to do that so that way I could be better prepared for patients. Like I said, I had to work by myself for most of the internship, and the first day that my coworker didn't come in, I wasn't even told. I was occasionally overwhelmed by all the patients let back simultaneously instead of them waiting up front, because a chiropractor doesn't like for them to wait up front like you would in a normal healthcare setting. So as soon as they came in, they were basically ushered back to me, and I had to figure out what they needed to do. I found myself hiding behind certain therapies that I was more comfortable with instead of learning new things, especially if I was doing manual therapy on someone. Then I would just do them for so long that the other patients needed help, so the lady at the front desk would come back and help with the things that I didn't particularly want to do. So that was probably some of the lows, and that was my fault, but I found that out about myself. And obviously when I did manual trigger point therapy so long and so hard, it did affect my hand. Like I would wake up with sore hands at first, and then my thumb would be stiff and hurt, and it still gives me some problems. The chiropractor actually had to adjust it. So, but the contributions I made was basically holding down the fort in the therapy area. And I did all the therapies except for the CBP setups, adjustments, and x-rays. I also inputted the exercises that I did with certain patients into their computer system, so they do have those written down. And I also helped train my replacement for the full-time position.